Wala.
Instantly, whenever T1 go for the Morphling in the 8th pick, every time it's pretty much AA, Terrorblade, and at Faceless Void, and sometimes they'll put a puck in there as well.
Enchantress.
But this is interesting that Talon, they're just like, all right, we're just going to go for the Faceless Void. Savage loves it. Often it's banned out in the second phase. Let's pick it up regardless here.
Turn to ban. Radiant
Now,
team ban.
it's probably going to be Savage playing it. It's his most picked position 1. But we've seen some support Faceless Void come through. Do you think there's any possibility at all of that happening?
We could get some shenanigans. Maybe not. I think they're pretty comfortable with it being a position 1 Void. I mean, now until the Druid, you could be a little bit worried.
Turn to ban.
I'm interested to see what they look to ban out as well on T1 in this phase, because the way to be able to counter that Lone Druid is just you need a lot of early damage. That's the main thing. You got to get right on top of the bear, and as well, you need consistent, like, percentage-based damage, because against both the Druid and the bear himself, they get quite high on the HP pool, especially if you're able to pop that true form. But go into these things that, like, deal percent damage, but then if you dispel them, they can't be reapplied, like the Arctic Burn, for example, because Savage Draw applies a dispel too. See how they're going to look to address this. Faceless Void on his own does a decent amount. It's honestly almost worth chronoing just to be able to kill a bear, to be honest. But I'm going to need to see some supports that are able to deal that damage very consistently. Phoenix isn't necessarily the best option, just because you've got a crazy amount of attack speed. You're already going up against a Marcy as well that's going to be able to deal with the egg pretty convincingly. So what is T1 going to look to ban out to make sure that's not a factor? Maybe Snapfire gets banned out now?
Snapfire. Trying to take a look at the other game that T1 also ran the Lone Druid. The second phase of bans was Bristle, Wyvern, and the Pangolier. Won't have to worry about the Bristle back here.
10 seconds
Are you
remaining.
considering about the Wyvern? Because Talon can put the Enchantress. Okay.
I'm not the biggest fan of the Wyvern in this game. I know Lone Druid is like... Actually, you are against a lot of physical, I suppose, but you've got a very good position 1 player on that. Where is this Lone Druid being played? Because Arna really doesn't play that much Lone Druid.
He played it last time and he looked incredible. He went 11-0 and 8. I think it's Arna's hero.
Okay, well, all I know is from some of the chats that we've had, Lone Druid was never in Arna's hero pool back when he was on OG. Like, specifically, they were like, ooh, let's pick this one. Like, that sort of extent. So if he's been able to prack up on maybe his 4th or 5th Sperth coming through and feels like he's confident with it, then, yeah, by all means, go ahead and pick it. But we'll see how it ends up turning out. As for Q with hero, I think maybe a Hoodwink could look to come out. I just want something else that's going to do damage into this Chronosphere, and something that's going to provide a little bit of that lockdown. High damage. Even a Quap, potentially. You know, Q plays the position 4 Quap occasionally, and you've got that potential to flex it to mid. It's another one of those lane dominators, so something that Makoto could look to take advantage of as well. That damage that I was talking about with the Zeus there.
You see Talon at the moment are putting a lot of emphasis on trying to protect the Faceless Void. Beastmaster, Viper, both banned out. Incredible laners versus the Void. Do you feel like they need to maybe consider something like a Visage here? Visage Marcy pairing is really strong in the lane. You also have, I believe, some synergy with the Lone Druid as well, where you can just look to end the game incredibly fast.
Radiant team.
It's a possibility for sure, but I mean, Enchantress is also, yeah, it's a nice band, but like Enchantress is really good at being able to deal with it. So I was thinking maybe it wouldn't be as much of an issue, but I could completely understand just not wanting to be concerned about it and perhaps trying to take the game into a little bit of the later stages.
So you were mentioning the Hoodwink as a support to be able to dump damage inside the Chrono. Is there another one you could be considering here for Talon?
The Quap that I was talking about before, maybe the Marana a little bit as well. Give me an Oracle. Give me an Oracle. Dazzle.
Radiant team pick.
Not feeling as strong about it. Okay. Do you think they were wanting to take this away from Makoto as well? Because he's got a very good Invoker too.
Yeah, potentially. I think you could consider
just charging in and then trampling you down, right? That's why I wanted the Oracle. Not only just for the Fate's Edict aspect of negating all that magic damage, but it's also you're against a Faceless Void. So if he jumps in and chronos someone, they would have been able to have that save through with the False Promise as well.
Can't you just Savage roll the Primal Beast in the lane?
I guess, but it's going to take a little bit to be able to be a lot more impactful. I mean, you could just look to try and isolate the Dazzle as well. It's going to depend on a lot of the positioning coming through from Whitemon. A little bit more control on Talon, that's for sure.
T1.
Real stuns outside of that chrono. I guess Primal Beast is a little bit, but they've got plenty of ways to be able to interrupt that, but it's an AA instead. I mean, how are they going to lane this? Is there a position 4 Enchantress coming through now? And I mean, it is pretty decent with the AA getting rid of the lifesteal from the sidekick, the lifesteal shared, whatever you want to call it, Spirit Link from the Lone Druid, the Dazzle heals, the Oko with a Quas.
5 seconds remaining.
An okay amount of value through from this, but
Radiant
I don't know where
team
these lanes are
back.
going to be set up.
I think there is potential to play them in multiple roles here, because Q has a very good Enchantress as well, along with Hyde, so they can play at 4-5. Enchantress, sorry, Ancient Apparition can look to play with the Primal Beast, so you got the slows to kind of help him stay on top of heroes, which I think you're
10
probably
seconds remaining.
more than likely, because the Void is an
5
okay
seconds
laner, a
remaining.
little bit better with those buffs to time
Heroes
dilation if you go
turn
it in
to
the lane
ban.
where it looks really good. So I think that's where the Enchantress can come into play, where you play the Enchantress with the Faceless Void, try and get him out of the laning phase, and pair the AA with the Primal Beast.
Radiant team ban.
Just thinking about how effective it's going to be against the Bear as well. Like, you're going to do a decent job of trading against the Dazzle because you've got the attack range advantage on the AA and the Enchantress to a lesser extent, right? You could just throw the impetus out, back up, and probably win the trading
10
battle. Of course, the
seconds
extra
remaining.
movement speed on the Ench helps with that aspect too. Now, what mid lane are we
5
expecting to see
seconds.
from
T1
Talon? They've left
turn to
Makoto's
pick.
all towards the end of the draft and have the last pick. Get it through, but look at the bans coming through. That Kunkka that you were mentioning before, that's not going to be an aspect. Also, the Ember Spirit gone. Is it a Void Spirit game coming through?
Yeah.
Just being able to dodge out
10 seconds remaining.
the EMP and the like, and the Dissimulate?
5
Yeah,
seconds
I'd put
remaining.
Void at the top for me, for Talon. It's not a lot of damage in Chrono, but I think maybe if your both supports have a very good game, and if this is a position for Enchantress, then you can go damage and be able to chuck the impetus inside the Chronos and rely on the Ice Blast as well. So maybe you just look for Hero to make plays, because they don't particularly have that capability. It will definitely help out. What about T1 though? Because we're looking for Cuckoo's Hero. What are their flaws currently that they need to cover with the position 3?
Some ranged hero. So,
Can they Dazzle 3? Can you go Marcy Dazzle, damage over time for the lane versus the Void? Is there any flex potential here?
Radiant team pick.
I feel like there could be a little bit.
Venomancer.
I was about to
Sorry,
say,
sorry.
I was going to say that. No, it's fine. But I'm sure chat's going to be just exploding right now because Cuckoo Venomancer is a little bit of a meme from back in the day. It kind of. I'm a little worried that we're going to see a
10
similar thing of what we
seconds
saw
remaining.
last game. You know, you're spending a lot of time in the lane. You might get a decent
5
amount of farm
seconds
there, but then
remaining.
you just fall off if you don't have this ongoing impact coming through. And it's not like you've got the easiest way to get in on top of all of these heroes and drop your poison Nova, right? You're just going to get chased down pretty easily. You're very immobile. Yes, the Gale slow is kind of nice against the Primal Beast. So maybe it's actually a Whitemon Venomancer and it's a Cuckoo Dazzle. I wouldn't hate that just for the slow against the Primal Beast.
Choose your hero.
Void Spirit we were talking about.
Very cool.
Let's see.
It's also-
where we end up going.
Okay, we'll be Cuckoo playing the Venom. So the lane matchup versus the Faceless Void is pretty solid for the Venomancer. Like, you do have damage over time, which the Faceless Void is going to struggle with, but as a game answer, it's a little bit different though. Like, Faceless Void has the capability, especially with his Aghanim Shard, to jump in on the Veno. If it doesn't look like a good fight, you can jump out. They've got a lot of damage in the Chrono, Ice Blast as well, and like, Veno is a hero that kind of wants to itemize a little bit more for the versatility. I should say the utility is what I was looking for. Just some
10
auras maybe to help
seconds
buff
remaining.
himself up, and I don't think you can do that this game with the Ancient Apparition. So It's nice for the lane, but the game I'm a bit concerned about.
I think you could probably still look to go into something like a pipe on the Venomancer. Honestly, even just the Wraith Pact would be pretty decent on Cuckoo this game, right? Sure, the lifesteal won't have as much of an effect because of the Ancient Apparition, but just reducing a lot of the damage that's coming through from, you know, your Primal Beasts, a lot of the burst from the Void Spirit as well, even just the damage inside of the Chronosphere, having that Wraith Pact up and running, even just for the extra damage that it's going to be able to provide over to your Lone Druid could be pretty significant. So I could see them going down that route. The thing that I want to change this time around for T1 is they, again, don't really have anyone outside of Zephyr on his Marcy that's going to be able to find the backline. And I feel like that's, again, going to be so very important. You need to make sure that you get that instant lockdown onto the Void Spirit, because what is there? What's going to stop Makoto from just running around in a lot of these team fights? He's highly skilled enough that he's not going to get caught out by Tornado EMP combos. Probably not going to let a Lone Druid Bear get close enough to him. So it's all on the Marcy right now. So I think that's where Talon are going to be looking to focus a lot of their attention, is just where is Marcy in a lot of these team fights, and how does that impact how we can take some of these engagements.
All right, we'll see what's in store for us for this second game here. Talon 1 a game away of moving over and booking their ticket into the grand finals. But then I think we're going to game 3. I like T1's lineup. I'm concerned that they are just going to be able to run over this game with the heroes that they've got. There's a lot of synergy with the Lone Druid. You can give the Bear the Alacrity. You can give the Bear the Sidekick. They've got winning lanes, which is incredibly important with a lineup that needs to end the game early. An Ancient Apparition Enchantress, they're going to struggle with heroes running you. Faceless Void 2 will struggle as well. I think T1 are going to be able to take this.
I think T1 have the potential to take it. I think if Talon are going to, it's going to be on the back of this top lane. AP and Q need to dominate this lane. Yeah, level 3 probably is when we're going to be looking to see some of those timings come out for KP in particular, with the trample, just able to get that through, try and focus down the dazzle.
30 seconds
they're even
to battle.
contesting the runes, but could they be considering some kind of a lane sprint
To be able to get on top of the Invoker, but Popson will have this slight advantage with being able to purge off the Resonant Pulse Shield.
now that it's been buffed up a little bit? The Aghanim Scepter being able to add to the amount absorbed rather than just refresh the base amount. When Spirit plays out there.
I think this lane is very skill dependent. If Makoto hits a couple of Aether Remnants and is able to put tops in a threshold where he's a little bit weak, then he might be able to get more last hits. But if he misses some Remnants, it could be a little bit more difficult with how he's going to be able to fare in this lane. But take a look at our side lanes for the moment with how top is shaping up. You said this was the all-important lane here for Talon. What are we looking for in regards to the level timings? When can they get active?
I mean, they can get active as early as level 2, depending on the positioning. Nice deny coming through there. Scale. The one skill point on both of these heroes right now that's an active, so time dilation's not going to do the most. But yeah, like it's going to depend on Whitemon's position. If he's out of position, then an onslaught into a trample can end up killing him. But that's not going to happen until level 3, because 99% of the time you're going up roll level 1 just because of how effective it is at buffing up your damage for the laning skill.
And with the bottom lane, we already see Savage leveling up a point in the time dilation. Do you feel like, is there ever a reason for him to go an extra level in a lane like this in particular because of Venomancer?
I don't think so necessarily. I think he just wants to be using that time walk as much as possible. Whenever you're against like these ranged, oppressive heroes, time lock isn't really the biggest value to get in the lanes. So I think it's mostly just about the survivability. Hyde's going to be doing a lot of the pressuring and the damage. Get that safe farm as much as possible.
Both supports on bottom, recognizing their role. If he was blocks the hard camp instead of the small camp, so making sure Hyde's not going to be able to play with any of the creeps. He does have some camps back towards the outpost, however.
Assassin trying to bully away Zephyr here a little bit. I hate this creep so much, man. So annoying whenever you got a tango running. In terms of that mid lane that you were talking about before, it really does feel like Thompson's going to have a fine enough time in this lane. You mentioned that if he gets low on the back of some Aether Remnants. Scratch that, he's actually getting a few right clicks in the face.
Nice dodge, Makoto with the dissimulate. She's got the right click range. All the new heroes can hit from afar, and you see that is exactly the case here. As Makoto finds a solo kill, and he'll get a tip as well from Hyde. Beautifully done.
Caster Curse strikes again. Just able to get the kill. I mean, it's Makoto, right? Number 1 in SC8 for a reason. He's even going to be able to secure that water rune for himself once he's picked up this bottle. The boots and the raindrops, I like it. Be able to withstand some of that pressure coming through from Thompson, but I really feel like that shouldn't be happening. You know, that's only on the back of getting hit by the Aether Remnant. Otherwise, you're quas, you're ranged, pretty equivalent in terms of the right-click damage that you're able to do. So, Dakota to get that early kill, that is just heavily based on the skill.
Discreetly.
Top lane, Whitemon. A little bit of trouble here, KP. Trampling all over the Dazzle. This is something you were mentioning, that Whitemon's going to have some issues with his positioning in this lane. So it's going to be cancelled off instantly. KP needs one more right click, and again, one of the new heroes being able to right click from afar.
I wonder if they actually... Sounds weird, but did he want to die? I don't really feel like it. He's got more than half mana, but you had a skill point available on Anna at the time, and he didn't choose to put it into the Savage
Bottom
Roar,
lane,
which would have saved.
He's in a bit of trouble as well. They're going to try and chase him down in the tree line. Zephyr will finally re-enter the lane, but great Delta split. They'll avoid the jump in from Zephyr. And the toss, it'll only send the Conqueror packing. We're even considering about keeping the Dazzle down, but he's not going to look to join them, so it's just going to be the two members on T1 at the moment. Savage, time dilation once again, and he just gets the time walk away, but now Q, he's going to enter the party. We'll have the Ancient Apparition. There's a little bit of an unfair advantage. It was a 2-on-2. It's an even, but now with the position 4 coming down, Talon will get that +1 required to kill off the Marcy.
Another Centaur Conqueror here from Hyde. They might just look to go in onto Cuckoo. He's still very slow at this stage, and I don't really want to be using the Venomous Gale just onto a singular support. That's just free reign. Oh, he's actually using the Gale onto the Conqueror instead. Is he just dead here?
Just gonna try. He should make the TP
away.
Radiant's top
But
tower
I mean,
is under
now what do you
attack.
get out of this lane?
Are they gonna be able to chase down Makoto? More right click Whitemon just out of range to be able to reapply the poison attack. Zephyr can toss him back, but it will not matter. Makoto, I want to pop the DD for some of the bottle sips, and he will not need to. Talon.
But I mean, this bottom lane, you specifically picked this Venomancer to be dominating the lane, and it certainly isn't the case. Faceless Void, second on net worth. Cuckoo on his Veno, all the way down at the bottom of the cores.
And this is exactly what you need for Talon, because this Faceless Void will take a long time to come online.
Is super early on, so he just wants to be a little bit more passive. He wants to be able to farm up the jungle, open up the map a bit more for Enchantress, AA, to get some of those early-ish levels.
Feels like we're going to be putting a lot of attention onto Tops in this game to make his rotations. Now, I was mentioning he was a bit of a pioneer of some particular Invoker builds, and I'm seeing it treads into a Falcon Blade. I'm yet to see this. Maybe some of the other regions in the qualifiers have pulled this out, but so this is able to shape out for the Coswex Invoker.
Does mean that you're able to keep up somewhat in scaling, though, which is always nice whenever you're an Invoker and you're not going down the Midas route. Wants to be a little bit more brawling oriented, considering that you're playing with a Veno, you're playing with a Lone Druid, very early timings, playing with a Marcy.
They're gonna dive tops him. And Makoto, he commits with the double ultimate. Makoto's now stuck under the T1 tower. A Remnant will provide a little bit of distance away, a couple more right clicks, and now with a poison touch, but Savage, what a rotation! The Chrono clipping 3, they've got Q nearby as well. Talon, they're on the ball in the second game. Even KP said, screw it, I'll come join the mid-team fight as well as Talon. 6-0 stars.
But, top side, they've left it kind of solo here. Anna, as soon as that happens, just with that Blightstone, the Gloves of Haste, immediately goes into full-on rat mode. He wants to make sure that you're getting something in exchange for this, and free tower taken with just one person. They're going to look to respond with everyone for this. They actually end up cancelling the TP. Who was that on? That on Thompson.
So Thompson's not going to be here. And now they can just chase down Zephyr. Another kill for Talon. T1 tower claim mid. Uh-oh, this is not how the lanes were supposed to go.
Anna's playing very aggressively, just wanting to push this lane as quickly as he can into the tower. back off down towards the bottom side. So some valuable net worth going away. Yeah, the experience, but now he's just... This is the game on Ana. Previously, it felt like Topson was doing all of the heavy lifting, but decent start here. Gonna look to try and run down the AA, and probably will. Houston have the TP, but wouldn't have been able to accomplish anything with it either. But if you could take away his 2 tier 1 towers, then feel so dire for them. They're going to be able to come back into this game.
Lane Topson, he's going to be in some trouble here. Dakota gets a jump, a nice sidestep.
Radiant
Should be able to hold them back with the tornado, but Talon, they're still pushing on forward. I think Cuckoo with the rotation at the moment. Power rune for another 20 seconds as well, so both sides will goes back away.
Radiant's bottom tower has fallen.
The tower.
A kill as well down bottom gave some own charges to Cuckoo. One thing I'm a bit concerned about is Topson really nice stats. So, I mean, Cuckoo's just going to be forced to backpack it every time. Look at it, come on, man.
Bro.
1.4 mana regen, 2 all attributes, 2 armor. The stats are incredible. Like, it's a very, very cheap item. What it provides you is nice, especially with a Venom who does have some mana issues. And, like, you're okay with it. Just backpack it. You don't backpack it, then we got some issues.
Okay, so how long until you think Cuckoo is demanded to sell this this Earth that he's got right now?
No, he's not going to sell it. If he doesn't backpack it like 2 times, I'll hold that thought mid lane. This is not an easy kill at all, and you see Makoto recognizes with how his exactly. Okay, so if he doesn't backpack his own like maybe a couple times and they make the mistake, then he'll be told to sell it. In trouble. Try onslaught away, but that will be stopped instantly from T1.
Well,
a much needed kill to get them on the board.
Right, Topson got the earn charges. He still doesn't know maybe about the situation. Hopefully for T1's sake, it doesn't come back to bite them. It does allow for a whole lot more of that chain stun, considering how lacking they are in it. Maybe now they can look to go for a few more of these +1 pickoffs. But like I was saying before, up against this Void Spirit, Faceless Void, even the Primal Beast to a lesser extent, need Zephyr to be there if you're going to get any kind of lockdown happening.
What can we expect out of Ana and his timings in this game? Because we do see he's pretty much one of the few cores on T1 that he's getting a ridiculous amount of farm. Working to the Desolator is his next item. Is that Deso going to be enough for T1 to start the group up?
Is under attack.
Through.
There. Makoto's in a bit of trouble here if they can keep the roots going. Zephyr's going to look to jump in. A great jump out from Makoto, and they do end up getting the bear kill. To the top side of the map we go is Cuckoo. Gets the poison over off. It's going to clip onto both the heroes here, but Savage feels like he has an opening to drop the Quota speed. Makoto's going to be nearby with a double damage rune. They use the Redlet onto Cuckoo, then they'll be able to turn to deal with the Dazzle. Beautifully done from Talon as they bring 4 members to be able to take the skirmish top.
Dire's bottom
and immediately looking to try and go into the mid push, but you've really stopped people around this time. Yeah.
He's got Zephyr nearby. Spell off the double damage from Makoto. He goes in. And now he's out of ultimate charges, so Ana, he can freely charge him down. They'll give the alacrity over to the bear, but once again, the 8th, the Remnant, buying enough valuable time for Makoto just to get out of danger. He resummoned his bear. This is important. Getting blast. They've been given the movement speed as well.
So close. Would have been a full minute without that bear. Effectively a useless position 1, but is again a much more defensive movement that's forced out of Talon. They really wanted to make sure that they were maintaining their tier 1 mid. If they get the opportunity to do that, it means that Cuckoo is able to sit up top, holding on to his urn with 0 charges in it at the moment. Topson needs to get into that Witchblade. They need some of that consistent damage coming out that's just going to be consistent across the Time War. It's going to be going through the Resonant Pulse Shield, just preventing a lot of these Talon heroes from being a lot tankier than they have any right to be.
I think, T1 just smoked onto the ward. Going through Savage will be okay. I think for T1, really, the big thing for them is they need to take this T1 tower.
Seeing as well, have we just finished up the Deso on...
Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
One more Mithril Hammer, I believe.
I mean, it's a decent enough timing, but the thing is, it's going to become so much more difficult for T1 as soon as KP gets into the BKB for himself. He's only about 1,000 gold away from being able to do so, and he's got that. He's just able to dive in. Nothing that they've got is going to be able to stop the tramples from, again, just going in onto the backline and creating a ton of havoc. And that's where Faceless Void is in his absolute prime.
At the moment, so this network lead continuing to grow for Talon. It's up to 5,000 now.
Dire's bottom tower is under
We
attack.
need to pull these creeps off of the tower, though. I don't have too much free damage going into that one. I have to ask as well, are we even calling it the triangle anymore? Because it was the
Radiant's
triangle
courier
because there were
has
3
been
camps to
killed.
farm, and now there's no small camp. So what is it now? Is it a line?
I don't know. I don't know.
Dire's
I'm sticking with
bottom
triangle.
tower
It's just
is under
easy.
attack.
One knows it kind of by that now.
What if we called it something and then it could be our thing, you know? Like
Right, so Makoto
Slack's
has,
calling the Radiant Tier 2 tower at bot lane the Jeff Hill. Tried to call this this stand.
When did he try and do that?
A couple of days
I've
ago.
never heard that. Oh, okay. It's a big item for Makoto now to complete. Scepter coming out of the corridor. They're going to chuck the Ice Blast up the top. KP can jump on it. TP's coming in as well. Ice Blast won't connect. Let's see if they're still going to go for the Druid. No, in case KP just wants the cleanup. I really like how Dire are playing. Like, invading the jungle. They're incredibly strong right now, even though they are 5,000 gold behind. I think one pick off and they can go into Roche. I don't believe they can do it right now because all the ultimates still available for Talon.
They seem to think they can.
This is scary, man. They could definitely execute the fight and prove me wrong, but with all the AoE ultimates that Talon have, this is going to be a very difficult Roche if Talon do contest it.
I've got any creeps to be able to play with? Maybe that was why they just emphasized so much in making sure that they took away at least the medium camp from the, I'm calling it a triangle, the area, the Radiant Ancient area. Because that would have allowed them to just scout this out much more easily. So just little plays like that, preventing the engagement inside the area. Early smoke coming through, just allowing Ana to finish off the Roche for themselves, maybe trying to catch them off guard.
Catch Makoto. The chain control has to be ever so perfect, and he's lost mana now, Makoto. Enough to be able to get the Astral Step away. No way! Toxic Invoker! Oh my lord!
Red like a wolf. And they know where Savage is as well.
Is under attack.
Oh my lord, beautifully done from T1. You get Roche, you get a crazy kill onto the Void through it thanks to Thompson's Invoker. This is why you pick him this hero.
Indeed, and they know exactly, like I was saying before, where Savage is. They know he's playing to the right-hand side there. They just need to watch out for any sorts of TPs coming through, but sidekick on a bear that's already life-stealing so much naturally with the Master Madness, and now the Desolator is one of the big strengths that they've got. They're able to melt these towers.
Yeah, he's going to just charge into the middle. KP goes with a fresh BKB completed, so he feels strong enough.
Radiant's middle tower has been
Get a
denied.
T2 tower. Very nicely done for T1. This is a lot of their timing here off the back of the Aegis. They need to continue to play aggressively across the map.
Dire's
We're
bottom
gonna fight here though on Talon.
attack.
We've got a great one with a high gun. He's just gonna look to try and target down with the Venom. The Ice Blast following up forward as well. Cuckoo's gonna charge into the middle to at least get the poison over off before they secure the kill. And T1, they can turn it around though if they get a couple lucky roots out, and they will do just that onto the Primal Beast. But towards the northern side, Thompson, he's being caught out. He's in trouble at the moment, but Savage, he doesn't even get the chrono off. Bomb faked it for the first time. The cold stat was able to disrupt the second use, and they kill off the Faceless Void. Can they catch up to Makoto though? Into the tree line, a perfect timing with the Dissimulate. And we'll have an ultimate charge up shortly, so Makoto should be fine.
Afford to give your life up like that though on Savage. Doesn't have the BKB finished just yet.
They see Makoto under the ward.
Them though. A lot of those charges back up, all cooldowns available.
Hey, time.
Quick fingers.
Honestly, maybe if it was still nighttime, he would have been able to get that kill,
has
but
been killed.
turning today at a perfect time. And Hobson, what's he lose? Just the Ogre Axe in the corridor. Close to anything. Hi! We'll be alright. We got a ball game here. We're starting to get a little bit out of control, but again, T1, they've got Aegis for still another 2 minutes 30, so they are in fighting shape. They can get a lot more map control off the back of this.
Got to be careful the way he's positioning as well. The vision right now that Talon have is kind of minimal and revealed on the map too much on T1. So forward solo though, just trying to push this lane out a little bit, play around with the rest of his team. He knows how juicy of a prospect he is, but bot lane, I feel like that is a much sweeter option rather than just getting a single kill up to the Faceless Void. This is a high reward, low risk play when you've got a lone druid as farmed as this, as well as a double creep wave with the siege creep.
They're gonna go high ground, why not? With the Plague Wards to be able to set themselves up. Got the Alacrity on the bear, you can even chuck up the sidekick as well. This bear is going to do a lot of damage. Talon need to address it.
And they hold long enough for Savage to just get two.
With the Ike Shot and Match Shot Ice Vortex.
This regen and healing that they've got on T1 side. But they were able to get the BKB up on 23 Savage, so now he's able to fight. He's able to fight a little bit, play a little bit more around the rest of his team, just in case fight does break out. Negative shard though, to be able to consistently have that impact in a lot of these team fights to perhaps force out some unideal BKB and spell usages.
T1, they just smoked under Observer Ward.
Yeah. Make this out for as long as they can. They'll have the timer ticking down basically right on the 23-minute mark. Might even look to go for a crazy engagement in, just popping Hyde on the front lines. He's going to be the first one that defies any kind of smoke play, and good, solid positioning coming through from Talon this game.
I like this call from T1 though. Like, they scan on the high ground, recognizing that Talon are up there, and they cannot address that, so they're just going to look to go bottom instead, force them back away from their power position. I don't believe they can commit though, because we saw what happened last time with the bear, and you don't have the Aegis now. So as long as you just force Talon away from this powerful spot that they were playing in, now T1 can get a little bit of the jungle control. And really for me, I feel like T1 are just trying to wait out till Roche forms. I don't think they're strong enough to take team fights until they have the second life again.
Yeah, it really does feel like they want this AC as well, minimum, on Ana, just to make that push even easier, even just providing a little bit more of that sustain for the rest of your team against the eventual right-click damage that's coming out from Faceless Void. Even the Enchantress to a slightly lesser extent, I guess not the impetus, but you got the BKBs running, it helps out a little bit too.
Tower is under attack.
It's a Venomancer Enhancer.
It's an interesting item.
Did go into that pipe we were talking about, pipe or the Wraith Pack, so really wouldn't hate seeing him go into the Wraith Pack next. Feels like the item that he was more comfortable in getting into right now, just so that you can commit yourself. 30% magic resistance without even popping the barrier. Quite significant.
With that aim disc, and it does look like the Vlad's in to the Wraith Pack queued up afterwards as well. Another interesting item is KP going to the Scepter. Does provide the break as well, if it's able to get that connection with the little projectiles that are released. So if you get that onto the Lone Druid, that's going to be really nice to mitigate some of the damage. Have you checked Ana's bear's name as well, by the way?
Oh. Very interesting. I can verify a few of those stats.
Top lane, Thompson. Looks like they're going to be able to get the jump onto the Evoker. Zephyr's nearby to maybe get some bonus movement speed out. The Ice Blast will connect with the global potential thanks to Q. They're going to be able to bring down Thompson's Invoker. And it looks like Hyde will successfully TP out as well and drop some voice lines in the meantime.
Hasta luego, see you later, he says, and well, he even puts up the high five as he makes his great escape. And a good map play coming out from Talon right now, and they don't really care about going into the super later stages of this game, right? Because Faceless Void, one of the best heroes for the ultra late game, as long as you're not getting caught out by that initial stun. And Enchantress is going to be a fourth core, essentially.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Speaking about the Enchantress, he's going to look to pair up with 23 Savage. Easy kill onto Zephyr. A little bit more gold into the bank of that pseudo position 3 that we have from Hyde. Level 12, almost Hurricane Pike. Yep, definitely feels like Talon are more than happy with being able to head into the late game. T1, this is, for me, it comes down to the second Roche. If they're unable to get this Aegis, I feel like their lineup has just missed their timing.
Yeah, and speaking of timings, KP has got that Aghanim Scepter completed in about a couple of seconds. So much extra damage that you've got coming out. The projectiles and break is significant too for the reasons that we mentioned. The Lone Druid specifically. I wonder, looks like he's going into the Wraith Pact and the Aeon Disc on Cuckoo. You have to wonder, like, if they're able to get this second Roche, what do you go into? Do you give the Aghanim Shard over to the Dazzle, or do you give it to the Venomancer just to try and catch them out with the Dazzle, using the BKB, or even just the Uproar on KP, or the level 15 Talon, just to give them that little bit of an extra stun, you know?
Wait up!
Yeah, I'm actually not quite sure who they give it to, because I think there's even an argument to be made for Thompson to take it. Maybe because he's not too close to the level 20 Talon, that extra 80% Chaos Meteor damage is a lot. Nice pass onto Ana! Makoto's going to be able to jump as well. Ana, he wasn't ready for it! An unsuspecting move from Talon, and they just blow up the Lone Druid. And that is as soon as Roshan spawns.
Go right on in. They want to take away some of this vision, but Cuckoo is going to do himself fairly well.
Gonna jump in.
High.
To the river, look at the alacrity damage coming up from Zephyr, but the Chronosphere eclipse up to Thompson. He's able to get the protection off. They don't have the damage at the moment thanks to the BKB. Let's see if Thompson's going to be able to continue to run himself away. The respect coming up from Talon, they will not enter the high ground. Instead, they're going to deal with the heroes that are still caught outside of the river. Zephyr is able to jump on forward, but Cuckoo, he doesn't have this capability. They should be able to chase him down. The onslaught into the middle, but
what a tornado!
As Thompson breaks the combination. As T1, they successfully avoided that attempt. What a beautiful move from them. They dealt the split away. Thompson back to the high ground. Cuckoo in the middle, just soaking up abilities. And now Arn is back alive to look to take this Roshan.
Thompson, by far the MVP of that team fight. He was just kiting around Makoto, even able to get him on the retreat. It's all around just protecting this Observer Ward, and I've got an Ancient Apparition. I feel like it should be a lot easier than it was. Ice Vortex on the top, you've got an Enchantress with a Dragon Lance, excuse me, and they just stuck around, kind of dipping their toe in rather than just diving in completely. Power of that vision again, man.
We do see Aghanim Shard was given over to Thompson. Got that couple of meteors to be landed down as well. Also reduces the cooldown by 15. And Aegis into the hands of Ana. I was saying this second Roche had to be given over to T1. If they weren't able to find it, they would be in a very difficult position for their lineup to be able to combat Talon in the late game. But they've got second Roche, and we again have a pretty close ball game
Radiant's
here.
top tower is under attack.
Come around, at least they have something that's
Radiant's
able to
top
put this
tower
tempo
has
up. I
fallen.
mean, look at the speed that they're able to take
Dire's
towers.
bottom tower is under
5 hit
attack.
by National Dumpy Name.
They again can poke the bear. They need to protect him. They're going to do just that. The jump with the KP. He's gone.
It's under attack.
He couldn't be
They're gonna
KP.
try and-
Radiant structures.
No opportunities now. Hyde, he's also getting chased down by the bear. Chen's going to be able to slow it down for the moment. The tier 3's already been melted. Zephyr is into the middle. The Enchantress posturing aggressively. Makoto's going to look to find some time. It's Savage to the back. Gets the Kono onto 3. Until the saving support as well. There's going to be no grave to keep them alive. As Savage, he can now turn to try and deal with Cuckoo. A 4-staff into the tree line, but it's not enough. As Savage now, he'll turn his attention towards the Lone Druid off the back of the respawn. Arna's got nothing to keep him healthy. As Talon, what an incredible high ground defense. They say, screw your Aegis advantage. We can fight into it even down KP.
Man, just getting the perfect counter initiation coming through there from Savage, and they had the damage to come through. It's a pretty scary high ground to have to go into. Where's the advantage of what happens if you're clumping up just that little bit too much? High ground, probably the scariest area to be if you're playing on this Dazzle. Can't be far behind, and well, what happens when you get a little bit too close as well. It's really on a knife's edge right now. It feels like any single time that T1 win a team fight, it's going to be a full lane of racks, but Talon, excuse me, their team fight is just so far superior.
I mean, that was incredible. They just baited the Enchantress. Hyde was able to force staff out. They got the Ice Blast onto 2. And we're not even mentioning the Chrono, which was clicked 3 and got the saving support. And then the Enchantress could just start pummeling into them. Like, this is looking really scary now for T1. They're going to have to pull something crazy out of the hat.
A lot of mobility as well, just to be able to get away from the Marcy, to be able to get away from even the Venomancer to a lesser extent, from the Root Spirit Bear, the Ogre Seal Totem, and you got 3 separate Force Staffs in addition to the mobility on Faceless Void and Void Spirits. Very clear. Yeah, the MO coming through here from Talon, it's just kite around these fights as much as possible. Well, they're doing a pretty good job so far. Anytime one of these big team fights break out, it always seems to be them on the winning end. Haven't as yet been able to take advantage of it in terms of map control. T1's favor, bottom lane, fairly well pushed in. Deal with top lane a little bit on T1, especially
Ice Blast onto 3! Oh my lord! Okay, Makoto. Alpha's already used a couple of his abilities. Luka's on the prowl though. Well, they're going to connect as well. Makoto's in a lot of trouble. They're going to be able to capitalize. As Talon get a little bit too antsy, they feel like there was an opening for them to take a fight with that ward on the higher ground, and well, that'll result in Makoto going down.
No glyph available, bro. They don't have the refresh either. This could be 2 lanes of racks, honestly, just off of 1 death. 1 bit of poor positioning coming through from Makoto, who just bought out an item quite recently. Higher. So we're close to having that buyback.
They will have the Chrono up in 8. So crazy.
Faith pact on Puku as well. In factor if he's able to drop that and the pipe as these initiations are coming in on Savage, but
they're gonna try and hide. With the damage coming through from the maple as well, they'll secure the kill, but Savage, he gets a corner off the cores on the silent blocked as well. They'll click onto Arnold, but they haven't been able to blow anyone throughout the ultimate, so maybe they're gonna be cautious here on Talon if they want to stick around. KP, a lot of damage out of the pulverize, gonna try and chase him down, but down to the south side. Thompson will secure the kill onto the support, but they're still gonna be cautious here. Thompson will be able to reposition thanks to the bonus movement speed. The Deafening Blast will push back to Faceless Void as well. Savage, he doesn't want to let them go for free. Another time walk on forward. I don't think he's going to be able to catch up. He's hindering this. Thompson, what shenanigans are you up to here? How can you pull out of the hat to try and kill off the Faceless Void? And well, he won't even stick around to make the attempt. With the ultimate on cooldown for the Marcy, they will be lacking the damage. So another kill for 23 Savage.
Illusion.
I want to see the replay, but I want to keep my eyes on this bottom lane just because Faceless Void still hanging around the area. But if we do get a chance to replay, maybe now if we can, I also want you to put your eyes onto Makoto. They don't hit the perfect Chronosphere. It doesn't hit onto everyone. Dazzle is actually outside of it. But rather than laying damage into it, make sure to get the silence off with the Aghanim Scepter, with the Aether Remnant. You still eventually get it off, but the damage has been done. They're able to pick off a lot of these targets, keep away the healing. Results in such a victorious team play. Great team play once again, realizing what his job is needing in the middle of these team fights. They've got plenty of damage without the Voids.
See how messy these fights can look though. KP charging somewhere, Savage jumping, Makoto doing the same thing as well. Savage is already level 25, man. What the hell? He's 6 levels ahead of the second highest in this game. 23 Savage is having a hell of a game here in the upper bracket final. 7, 1, and 9. Look at the GPN from him. 740. He's well and truly on top, and I'm not quite surprised. I mean, his Faceless Void is always something to fear. They tried to counter it. They've got the lineup to deal with it early, but now that he came online, now that he had an incredible lane, like, we're seeing the issues with killing off and dealing with the Void.
Kodo making sure Savage knows about it. The greedy mid tipping the inconsistent carry coming through here from the 2 that have previously been shunned by some other members within the SEA region, but they're certainly turning it out in this game so far. Maybe we should call him 25 Savage just because of how quickly he's able to hit up onto a lot of these high levels.
Good old Midas. What an item. He's gonna go Link. I was gonna say, is he gonna go Refresher next? Oh, he's already got Refresher. Okay. Very cool. Very cool.
What if he got
so
two?
pumped.
What if you could
What?
refresh the refresher?
Oh, that'd be a lot of mana. I don't know what you would do. You might have some issues, but just what do? You chuck your boots in your backpack or your Midas when it's on cool. Oh, I mean, I don't know. Attack speeds both are really nice in the void. You just hold triple mangoes.
Hold the people's gift as well for the extra stats.
Oh, Savage now with a second Chrono for T1 to deal with. Can they actually deal with it, man? I don't know, because Savage has been clipping multiple heroes, what feels like in every single Chronosphere.
It's been a couple of games in a row now where T1 have gone for this, like, pick-off domination, but not necessarily the teamfight control, you know? And it's a couple of times now where Talon have identified that big weakness and they've just said, okay, well, if they're not going to have a bunch of stuns, then we just go a lot of ways to be able to get out of it, you know? Primal Beast, Pinky. Going into, is that a Shiva's that he's picking up, or is it just a casual plate mail on KP? But did Savage just refresh for nothing? His Chrono had like 20 seconds left.
Okay, thank you. I was going to say, I don't know what the stat was for the Midas. Come on
Sure.
now. Think smarter.
Let's go with that.
On.
I'm not thinking like a carry.
Yeah, it's just a support mentality you have. No.
Who would want an ultimate like Chrono in a team, right, you know?
Oh my lord. Alright, well, you see T1, name of the game for them is just looking to split push the map. This mid lane's going to take a little bit of damage. Alacrity on the catapult, it's going to take a lot of damage actually. Someone's forced to come back.
Kite will be able to deal with it. Trying to hunt.
Guys are scanning.
Back up to build it.
They actually, I think, I'm not sure if T1 can 5v5 now at this stage of the game. I think you really have to be considering about trying to split up the map, which is exactly what they're doing, and just looking for the rat play. Because they will push incredibly fast. And even if like a Marcy's there or the Invoker's there with the bear, you just give the Alacrity or Sidekick over. I actually do not think T1 can 5v5 at this stage of the game. So it's potentially something they need to consider.
And that's what Anna thinks as well. Look at his quick fight. He's going into the Aghanim Scepter, so he wants to be able to just throw the bear into a lot of these engagements without putting himself in harm's way.
Q showing's going to be cautious. In fact, it's the bear that is in a bit of trouble. Of an easy kill, especially with KP using the Pulverize for that. He's got a resummon on Ana, but this is 2 minutes without now a second bear. And this is where Talon have got a big opportunity. I guess you're lucky that Roshi is not spawning for another 2 minutes, so might get away with it.
Big timing's coming. I mean, the true form on the Lone Druid is kind of nice, so maybe Ana's just going to try and bait out his position a bunch of times, where you basically only have like a 10-second downtime on the true form. Just put yourself in team fights, make yourself a much higher priority, and just have the Lone Druid there on the other side of the map. That's how I would be looking to play this one. Once you pick up the axe, of course. Even Q getting very farmed going into the Scythe of Vice, which we've seen a bunch of times. And was it Q last time that we saw him go into that super greedy item that ended up paying up for him? It might have been, or Xiao Bonbon, I think it might have been.
What, in the qualifiers so far?
Yeah.
There was one where JG on the Conquer. The support, I'm trying to remember, yeah.
I want to say it was Xiao Bonbon.
A lot of games that have been going on. We are getting towards the tail end here. Qualifiers, second final day, the upper bracket final, and Talon, they are a couple fights away of booking a ticket into the grand finals. T1 was here. I'm gonna try and buy some time for them to get towards these next set of items, but again, Talon, they're also getting stronger and stronger.
Of course, again, that defensive movement, but it won't be quick enough. I won't be able to get that true map control, or maybe they will. I mean, Zephyr's backing him up just for the sidekick to be able to enable a little bit more of that burst damage, and play coming down here for Q. Trying to delay things out as much as he can. Get a pick off on
Look at the instant TPs! Gonna get out, Zephyr's like, alright, my job's just to get the tier 3 tower, but Savage, his job is trying to catch up to the bear. Find the slow. He's gonna get the bash as well. Looks like the Savage roll will get some distance away. Instant smoke out of Talon though. We've got a 4-on-4 across the map. They do see T1 in the river.
Up by Makoto as well. Can afford to be even more of a menace.
Radiant's bottom barracks are under attack.
Side though, it's pushing all the way in. Ping's starting to come out. I don't know if you want to go for this without your Void Spirit. He is such a key impact in terms of what it means for controlling the Dazzle and the backlines if the Chronos aren't perfect. And playing well so far, Savage, but I don't think you could put that much pressure onto him.
The second observer that just got de-watered as well in the mid lane, so T1 aren't going to have too much vision to play with if a fight does break out.
The Ags now on Ana though. Make these rat plays happen. Spirit Bear. Bot lane shoved in. He could look to play a little bit more around the Roche pit perhaps, just so that they need to. He's able to recall it and instantly join in onto the team fight. That'd be big. Playing around this double siege creep wave as well, but Talon not wanting to wait until it has enough time to have a true impact. High ground is KP. Tactical.
He's going to walk on forward. A 4-star breaks the combo. Savage going to try and catch up to Whitemon as well. And be able to get some distance away, but Cuckoo's the one that's in it. Some trouble here is Cuckoo. He'll go down. He the corners fit to the north though. Savage. He found 2 heroes, but he didn't catch out Thompson. The Invoker starting to get the combinations going. Meanwhile, the middle defines are Ana. Bashes. The bash to 23 Savage. Now T1. They need to get more. They committed heavily off the back of these buybacks. They should be able to catch up to Q. Duking down to the south. But the buyback coming out for the faces way. T1 need to respect the capability of Savage rejoining them. KP.
The BKB again, and the Chrono again. He used the refresher previously. He's wanting to play around. They'll have to TP back a little bit. They got the illusion runes forcing out bot lane a little bit, but they know that this Roshan is the big objective. Man, they got very lucky with some of those bashes coming through, but it's all on the back of Zephyr. Going for this Abyssal Blade. Pops that unleash.
Savage. Hang on. With Ana nearby to try and help out the bear. Once again, locking onto his target. But it is Simile will get them out. KP, he wants to go in though. He can't use the pulverize, so somehow Cuckoo's still alive. And this is enabling Ana to have a free fight. We're seeing what the bear can do once he's able to get onto his target. Thompson, he's going to jump in though. Thompson, he knows no way to stop.
Eventually be forced to though. The team just not feeling confident with all those buybacks being expended.
Radiant are scanning.
Around the Roche pit, and this would be really valuable to be giving over to Thompson. I think that buyback just to be able to get back into this and really close in enough. KP has the BKB to be able to play around with. Is it going to be quick enough though? They'll keep the charge coming through.
The Ice Blast, the charging as well. KP to disrupt. He's got it. The Aegis as well. He snagged up the Aegis and Immortal. Now Makoto's going to jump into the middle. They need to keep Thompson alive.
We've got everything.
If he gets some distance, the Invoker should be able to step up to the high ground thanks to the Ghost Walk, and he's okay. Can they set themselves up for round 2 though on T1? The Bear, priority number 1. They'll drag it back with the Remnant. The damage is stacking up for high, but it's not enough to get the summon. And in fact, Ana's going to look to TP out the Bear, but the use of the Pulverize, it'll keep it locked into the middle of the team fight. Down goes Ana's Bear. They'll get rid of Zephyr as well.
No bear for 95 seconds. They know this as well. They're just going to be able to move on forward. Not anywhere close to being able to pick up a refresher. Got all this net worth on the low druid, but it is useless. He's basically playing on 5,000 net worth right now. Savage even getting the nice little arcane rune. He's going to be harassing even more with the time dilation or even just the push aspect. What a big fight. They got everything from that Roche as well. Refresher picked up by KP, I believe. Gave the cheese over to Savage. Aegis, of course, we saw have a big impact in that team fight. Got the sacrifice as well.
Thompson has to go absolutely crazy if they're going to be able to hold the base here. And that is difficult now because you're going into a Lotus Orb onto KP. He can protect himself if he wants to charge in. Thompson, that's an aggressive blink. It's forced to pop a BKB as well. Thompson's in trouble. Ice Blast into the middle. The Grave's not going to do
Silence
anything.
again.
To the northern side. They get on top of the Dazzle. Thompson's down without a buyback. And Talon, I think they've done it. Onto Cuckoo next. No space as Talon, they'll take over T1 territory. Your base is now mine. 9.
Tower has fallen.
Oh, yes, it is. Not even bothering to go for the rack. Straight tier 4, says Savage. Might be... Yeah, he time walks back. PSD coming from previous qualifiers all the way back at TI 9. He got all the way to game 5 to be able to go to TI. He doesn't want to give it up again in a similar sort of fashion. Going for the safer play, but with no buybacks being expended, they're just going to want to go on forward. It's going to be all up to Zephyr and Ana to be able to defend this, bringing it to a game 3. Guns can do it.
Jump in. Every attempt. Bye-bye, Zephyr. He's got a buyback.
Another chrono.
Another round of the chrono. And this time, it's on to the real hero. On to Ana at the front of the fountain. Now they'll go for Zephyr as well. And why not fountain dive against some players who are well known for it? Talon. What an incredible series. They are yet to drop a map in the TI qualifiers. They will book their ticket in the grand finals.
Big smiles coming all around, and very well worth it, right? And the thing that most impressed me is that they played it in the Talon style. These weren't 30-minute victories. These were games that they played on their terms, able to drag it out. Game 1, 56 minutes. This one, 46. And they were still able to make it work, repelling a lot of the early pressure that T1 were trying to put onto them. Game 1, Viper in the lane. Game 2, Venomancer in the lane. Very, very aggressive early on supports and cores that are able to have that big impact that do drop off later on. Itemization choices, some of the hero options.
Wait, paano ko i-exit? Settings. Tawag mo exit. Ang init. So how? Sabi ko pahugot na yung charger eh. Dahil sira tong laptop, sinacharge na habang bagay siya lang din. Dito na ako. Ay, pakita mo.